Councillors and visitors, please remember to switch your electronic devices to silent. The live stream is now going on. Welcome, everybody. I'd also like to give a big welcome to our viewers at home who are watching via the live stream. Could I please ask everybody to stand for the opening prayer? And Councillor Criado will be doing the prayer.
Almighty God, we ask you to guide us in all our discussions, to show goodness, honesty, understanding, and wisdom in all that we undertake to do. May we respect each other's views at all times, and we ask all of this in your name.
Amen. Councillor Thornton, I wonder could you do the acknowledgement of country, please?
Yes, thank you. On behalf of councillors, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation on which this meeting is taking place, and show our respect for elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you. We can all take our seats. Without prior approval, any recording of this meeting is prohibited. No action should be taken on any resolution of council prior to written advice from the city being received. I'll now officially open the meeting at 6:33 and welcome. Attendance and apologies. We have Mayor Mark Irwin and Councillor Joe Ferrante have given apologies. Mayor Irwin tells me he's incredibly busy, but I think he needed the night off and he needed a good laugh. Approved leave of absence. Councillor Tony Christosavic has been granted a leave of absence for the period 28th of August 23 to 17th of October 2023 inclusive. Councillor Teresa Olo has been granted a future leave of absence for the period 16th of October to the 29th of October 2023 inclusive. Disclosures of interest. There were no disclosures of interest from the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on the 5th of September. For this evening's meeting, councillors, are there any disclosures that you'd like to submit? I'll take that as a no. Petitions. We have nil. Are there any councillors that have unverified petitions to submit? No indication, thank you. Responses to previous questions from members of the public were taken on notice. All public question time responses from the last council meeting were published in the minutes of that meeting. We have received some questions for this evening's meeting. I'd like to call on, firstly, Ms. Leisha Jack. If you'd like to come to the lectern, please, and state your name and your suburb, and please ask your first question.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, councillors and staff. My name's Leisha Jack. I'm from Karrinyup. I have changed my questions, but they're basically similar. Number one, how many city trees will be removed for the city's or have been removed for the city's trackless tram trial track? And how many would be removed for the full project if it was to go ahead? And when I say trees, I mean newly planted trees, not just significant trees, but all the newly planted trees as well.
Thank you, Ms. Jack. I'll go to Mr. Director for Infrastructure, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Chair. So in terms of the trial, 4 trees have been removed, and that is it. That's the number that's for the trial. In terms of the second part of the question, I mean, that is difficult to answer because the full project, if you're talking about the full trackless tram idea actually being delivered, I mean, that's subject to final design, and so we'd be unable to tell you exactly how many trees would be removed if that were to go ahead.
It would be quite a few though, wouldn't it?
As I said, we need to do a full design, and then we'll be able to work that out. But at the moment, for the trial, just 4 trees.
Thank you. Your second question, Ms Jack?
Many, trees have been removed from the turf out the front and for the trial tram, and also this has potentially disrupted the underground irrigation and part of the bike path. This is city infrastructure that ratepayers have paid for, and it's been ripped out to move this project forward, but it hasn't gone out to public consultation yet. It's taking a lot of city staff time, and even though it's federally funded, how much did the green and hard infrastructure cost ratepayers so far? What's been disrupted?
Thank you, Ms Jack. Mr Murphy?
Yeah, again, through you, Chair. I couldn't answer that question exactly, the cost of what's been removed. What I can say is that the trees will be replaced, and the estimated cost to replace the trees is $280 per tree, where there's already irrigation there, and that would be reinstated so that the trees wouldn't require watering. So I can give you the cost of trees, which is about $280 per tree to replace them.
Including irrigation?
Yeah, through you.
Anyway, okay. Question 3, all of the city's slick propaganda hype for the trackless train project lacks facts and details. The last agenda item on the 29th of August didn't include the usual maps or details that are normally in agendas for the public to see. On the trackless tram business case page on the city's website, it stated that stage 1 of the business case included problems and opportunities, and that's completed. 22nd of August, stage 2 of the business case identified an analysis of options, and that's completed. But there's no link to these documents. Within these stages 1 and 2, this is my question, is there a full cost-benefit analysis report and feasibility study for all of the relevant social, financial and environmental considerations for comparisons between current bus systems, upgraded bus systems, a trackless tram with full priority, a trackless tram with partial priority, light rail trams with full priority, and light rail trams with partial priority? I realise that this agenda items have all been around just a trial, but you know, these cost benefits between buses, existing systems and trackless trams, have councillors been provided with any of this information?
Thank you, Ms Jack. Mr Murphy?
Yeah, through you, Chair. There's a lot of information, a lot of detail in that question, so I'll take it on notice.
I'll send it to you.
The question is correct. There is a business case, and so we can, if you can send it to me, I'll give you a response in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms Jack. Mr Ellis, got you listed next. Welcome.
Peter Ellis, Corrine, in Taxel Close anyway. Good evening, Deputy Mayor and councillors and staff and fellow ratepayers. Can you please advise me why the overflow car park was closed last Sunday morning for the Stirling Market Day and the alternative parking was not made available with lots of people driving around trying to find a parking spot?
Thank you, Mr Ellis. Mr Murphy?
Through you, Chair, it was closed last week because works were ongoing to resurface the overflow car park. I'm not aware of any issues with parking. We received feedback on the weekend that there was no issues with parking in relation to the market, but the reason it was closed for those works.
Okay. I hope you can assist me in relation to the employment of Mr Roddick as CEO. When does the payment for his services CEO commence, please? I already know, thank you.
Mr Blanchard?
Thank you, Chair. 3rd of January 2024.
Thank you. If Mr Jardine's employment is concluded prior to the completion of his one-year contract, how much is he remunerated for the termination of his contract?
Mr Blanchard?
Thank you. The CEO's contract has not been terminated.
Sorry, it's not working very well,
Sorry, through you, Chair, the CEO's contract has not been terminated.
Oh, fine, thank you. He's still there. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Right beside me. Mr Hadley, have you up next? Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening all. Roland Hadley, Woodlands. On behalf of the Ewan Street Community Group, does anyone believe that the City of Stirling's car park, approximately 6,000 square metres, just happened to be scheduled for resurfacing at a time when a 3 million Chinese golden chariot is expected to arrive? Hopefully, these minor works went through a contract process, and, Acting Mayor, was the removal of shrubs and established trees included in the contracts? All part of the city's greening initiative, I assume.
Thank you. Mr Murphy, would you like to respond?
Yeah, through you, Chair. So the resurfacing the car park was in the budget. It's scheduled to occur. And in terms of removal of trees and shrubs, I believe that was removed. There were specialist contractors who removed them. Contractors we use all the time for different tree works.
Thank you. Question 2. Reasons for this trackless tram is to reduce traffic usage, reduce emissions, and boost investor confidence. Few passengers use this public transport on a daily basis. Therefore, how or why will a 3 million trackless tram see hundreds of commuters rushing to use this vehicle? And if you believe the Mayor's YouTube video, 500 passengers every 15 minutes. However, with electric buses, no emissions, no 13 platforms to be required, no major disruption on Scarborough Beach Road, and how much taxpayers' money saved?
Mr Murphy, or would you like to take that on notice?
Through you, Chair, yes, I'll take that on notice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Hadley.
Question 3.
Oops, sorry.
Quite all right. Has the Minister for the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage approved and signed off on a further lease extension from 2029 to 2044 for the Mount Lawley Golf Club?
Ms Hawkins, please.
Thank you,
give a
through the Chair.
response.
Thanks, Mr Hadley. The answer to that is no. That would only be done if they choose to take that extension. At that point, the Minister would need to give approval.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a Mr Greg Bell. Was he in the audience?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. If you'd like to state your name and your suburb and carry on, please.
Do I have to press anything here?
No, it's on.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Okay,
good.
Greg Bell, North Beach. I was here a month ago. There's a lot less people here. Deputy Mayor and councillors and all the staff. Is everyone having a good time tonight? Yeah?
Ask us in half an hour.
Okay, I've got some probably seemingly unrelated and different questions. First of all, since we've been talking about finances, I was just wondering, it's a huge city to look after, a lot of projects going on. Is it all funded by ratepayers?
We do get quite a lot of funding, grant funding from external sources. In what exactly? Have you got something more specific?
No, I was going to say, what are those other sources? Are they all government or are they?
Not necessarily. Let me ask Ms Hawkins to provide you with a response.
Okay.
Thank you, through the Chair. Thanks for your question. With regards to ratepayers, about 60% of our expenditure is funded through ratepayers. We have other funds, for example, grants which come from federal, state governments. We also have our fees and charges. So, for example, our leisure facilities we run in our programme, so that's another avenue in terms of revenue. We also have a revenue that comes through from our property and commercial, so we diversify revenue through that lens.
Sorry, what was that one?
Our property and our commercial arm, so land and assets that we own, and also the other large element is through interest revenue as well. So those are some of the other revenue streams, but around 60% is funded from our ratepayers.
So you own land that you sell as well?
Yes, we do.
How do you own that land? Where'd that come
Well,
from?
a lot of it's vested in us by the Crown. All this information in great detail is in the annual report, and I thoroughly recommend that you grab a copy, and a few coffees.
I understand, but it's easier to hear something than actually read something, as you may know. All right, my second question is the City of Stirling have any control over the public water? The quality of the public water?
Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, through you, Chair. No, that is Water Corp.
No, okay. That's it, simple. Okay, is there any part of the City of Stirling has any contact or anything to do with the UN or WEF? Either directly or via the state government?
Mr. Blanchard, I wonder, could you respond, please?
United Nations has many programs that the city engages in one form or another. These include International Anti-Corruption Day and the United Nations Goals on Sustainable Development. There may be other interactions with the United Nations from time to time.
That's ongoing.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. See, that wasn't too hard, was it?
That was pretty painless, thank you.
Okay.
That's all the questions that I know about from the gallery. Was there anybody else who didn't put a question in? No, we do have a couple of other questions by people that couldn't attend, and they will be written to directly, and they will be in the minutes of this meeting when it's created. Moving on to item 8, applications for leave of absence. Councillor Joe Ferranti has requested a leave of absence for tonight's meeting, 12th of September. Are there any other requests for leave of absence from the members? No. Can I have a mover for that item, please? Councillor Farrelly, and seconded by Councillor Thornton. Can we, just a show of hands, please? That is unanimous. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes. Councillors, is there a mover for Councillor Lagan and Councillor Hatton? Moving and seconding. Moving to accept the minutes of the ordinary meeting council held 2 weeks ago, 29th of August. Councillor Lagan's moved. Councillor Hatton has seconded. Is there any all in favour? Those in favour? Hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Announcements by the presiding member. I've added one in here. Recently, one of our esteemed councillors, Councillor Bianca Sandri, has been away and she's returned. Where is everybody in the gallery? Can you get them back? She went overseas and she came back with a husband. Congratulations, Bianca. We're really pleased for you and Marcel. All the very best. Unresolved business from the previous meeting. I have nil. Reports and recommendations of committees. Councillors will move straight to the items from the Planning and Development Committee. No items are required to be withdrawn and no alternative recommendations have been provided to governance. Councillors, there's only 2 items. Does anyone want to move one or more of them? Councillor Lagan.
I do have a question on 12.1 DS1.
That's withdrawn. The other item, did anyone want to withdraw that? No. Thank you. Did you want to... Sorry, I'll ask Councillor McDale, the Chair of Planning Committee. Would you... For the record, this is 12.1/DS1.
Thank you.
Amendment to use not... Amendment to use not listed. Viewing tower, lot 12, house number 200 Carrinup Road, Carrinup. Councillor McDowell.
Thank you, Dale. Yes, I'd like to move committee's recommendation, please.
There's a seconder for that item, Councillor Sandry. Thank you. Councillor Lagan, your question?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My question is through you to officers. On the city website, DA21/2145, objection to the proposed viewing tower on Burrows Road opposite residential homes. There was a petition of objection, I won't give the lead petitioner name, from May 2022. The number of signatures was 219. So my question is, through you, were the 219 persons that objected who would have had to have given their name, were they contacted for this new round of the application again?
Let me check. Councillor Lagan. Ms Shears, would you be able to respond to that, please?
Through you, Madam Deputy Mayor, it's unlikely that they would have been directly contacted. However, this consultation was undertaken with a 200-metre radius.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Lagan?
Thank you, it does.
Thank you. We'll go to the vote on that. If you could use your electronic devices, please. That is carried 892. So in favour of, Councillors Credo, Hatton, Lagan, Migdale, Olo, Perkov, Proud, Sandry and Thornton. Those voting against, Councillor Dudak and Councillor Farrelly. Thank you. Therein lies the balance of reports. Councillor Migdale, can I ask you to move the balance of reports, please?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I'd like to move the balance of reports, please.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Dudak. All those in favour? Sorry, hit your button. They're not getting much of a workout tonight. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Moving right along. Item 13, reports for consideration in accordance with section 4.24 of the Meeting Procedures Local Law 2021. There are no direct council reports this evening. Item 14, notices of motion for consideration. Councillors, as we're in the caretaker period, notices of motion are not able to be considered until after the election on the 21st of October. Notices of the same applies to item 15, notice of a motion for consideration at the next meeting. As I said, after the election, we can get back into the flow again. Thank you. Questions, item 16, questions by members of which due notice has been given. I have nil. Item 17, new business of an urgent nature, nil. Matters behind closed doors, I have nil. And moving right along to the closure 19, I hereby declare the meeting closed at 6:55 p.m. Thank you all so much.